Imagine standing in the middle of a storm, chaos raging all around you. The wind howls, rain lashes against your skin, and yet there you stand, calm, unshaken, completely in control. This is the power of mastering your mind. This is the power of responding, not reacting. Most people live their lives as slaves to their emotions, anger, fear, frustration, and anxiety controlling their every move. They snap at their loved ones, panic under pressure, and make impulsive decisions they later regret. But what if you could break free? What if you could train your mind to remain steady in any situation? This audio book is not just about emotional control. It's about power. The kind of power that gives you an edge in business, relationships, and life itself. Throughout this journey, you will learn the psychology, science, and techniques behind mastering calmness. You'll discover real-life stories, powerful strategies, and daily practices to transform yourself into someone who commands respect, handles stress with ease, and never lets emotions dictate their actions. Your transformation starts now. Are you ready to train your mind and take control of your life? Let's begin. Chapter 1. The War Inside Your Mind. Your mind is a battlefield. Every day a silent war takes place inside you, between the logical, rational part of your brain and the emotional, reactive side. The problem is, most people don't even realize this war is happening. They live their lives being pulled in different directions by emotions they can't control, reacting to situations without thinking, and later regretting their words and actions. But here's the truth. Every impulsive reaction is a sign that emotions, not logic, are in control. And if emotions control you, then the outside world controls you. Think about the last time you snapped at someone in frustration. Maybe it was during a heated argument, or perhaps someone cut you off in traffic, and you felt that surge of anger take over. In that moment, you didn't choose your response. Your emotions did. This is what most people don't realize. Reactions happen when the mind is on autopilot, when emotions override rational thinking, and when we are slaves to the past experiences that shaped our responses. The more you let emotions dictate your actions, the more predictable and weak you become in the eyes of others. Now, imagine a different scenario. Picture someone insulting you, expecting you to explode with anger. But instead, you remain calm. You look at them with steady eyes, take a deep breath, and respond with clarity and control. That moment of restraint, that ability to pause before reacting, is a display of ultimate power. Why? Because when you are in control of yourself, you automatically gain control over any situation. The calmest person in the room is always the most powerful. They dictate the energy, while others, driven by emotion, lose their grip. But why do we react so impulsively? The answer lies deep within the brain. Our minds have been wired for survival since ancient times. Back when humans lived in the wild, reacting instantly to danger meant the difference between life and death. That's why our brain has something called the amygdala, often referred to as the emotional brain. It processes threats and triggers immediate reactions before the logical brain, the prefrontal cortex, can step in. This was useful when we had to escape predators. But in today's world, where threats are more emotional than physical, this automatic response system often works against us. The good news? You can rewire your brain. You can train yourself to move from reaction to response, from impulsiveness to control. The first step is awareness. Pay attention to how often you react without thinking. When you feel anger, frustration, or fear rising, recognize it. Observe it. Instead of acting on it immediately, pause. That tiny moment of hesitation is where your power begins. The longer you hold your reaction, the more time you give your logical brain to step in. And once you learn to master that moment, you start mastering your life. The war inside your mind isn't won overnight, but with training, you can become the commander of your own thoughts. And when you do, the world will no longer control you. You will control it. Chapter 2. The pause that changes everything. Life is a series of moments, and within each moment lies a choice. When faced with stress, conflict, or unexpected challenges, you can either react on impulse or respond with intention. This simple yet powerful distinction is what separates those who are controlled by their emotions from those who control their destiny. The ability to pause before reacting is the foundation of emotional intelligence, self-mastery, and true power. It may seem like a small act, but in reality, it is the single most effective tool you can use to take control of your life. Most people don't pause. They react. Someone insults them, and they fire back without thinking. They receive bad news, and panic sets in immediately. Someone criticizes their work, and they get defensive. Their emotional responses dictate their behavior, and they remain trapped in a cycle of impulsive reactions. This kind of behavior doesn't just lead to regret, it makes you weak. When you are reactive, you are predictable, and when you are predictable, you are easily manipulated. The world and the people around you can push your buttons, control your emotions, and make you dance to their tune. But the moment you learn to pause, to break this automatic cycle, you become untouchable. Pausing before reacting is not just about suppressing emotions, it's about reclaiming your power. When you pause, you give yourself the gift of time. Time to process, time to reflect, and most importantly, time to choose a response that aligns with your values and long-term goals. Think of the most powerful, influential, and respected individuals in history. They weren't impulsive. They didn't let emotions dictate their decisions. Instead, they mastered the art of the pause, using patience and self-control to handle even the most intense situations with wisdom and composure. Take, for example, Abraham Lincoln. He was known for writing what he called hot letters, letters filled with all the anger, frustration, and raw emotions he felt in the heat of the moment. But here's what made Lincoln different. He never sent them. He would write the letter, set it aside, and return to it later. More often than not, by the time he revisited it, his emotions had settled, and he realized that sending the letter was unnecessary. This practice allowed him to navigate conflicts with diplomacy and avoid unnecessary disputes. His ability to pause before reacting helped shape him into one of the greatest leaders in history. Now, consider your own life. How many arguments, misunderstandings, or regrets could have been avoided if you had just paused for a moment before reacting? How many relationships could have been saved? How many better decisions could you have made? The truth is, your first reaction is rarely your best reaction. Reacting is emotional, but responding is powerful. The difference between the two is that response comes from a place of clarity, while reaction comes from a place of impulse. So how do you train yourself to pause? The first step is awareness. The next time you feel an intense emotion, whether it's anger, frustration, anxiety, or even excitement, recognize it. Catch yourself in the moment. This is crucial because awareness alone disrupts the automatic reaction cycle. Instead of allowing your emotions to take over, tell yourself, pause, breathe, observe. These 3 simple words can transform your life. The second step is breathing. When you pause, take a deep breath. It may sound simple, but deep breathing sends signals to your brain that it is safe, activating the parasympathetic nervous system, which calms your mind and body. Just one deep breath can shift your entire state of being. Try this. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, then exhale for 6 seconds. This activates your rational brain and helps you regain control before responding. The third step is delayed response. You don't have to respond immediately. Give yourself permission to wait. In the heat of the moment, everything feels urgent, but in reality, very few situations require an immediate response. If someone sends you an angry message, wait before replying. If someone criticizes you, pause before defending yourself. If you receive unexpected bad news, resist the urge to panic. Instead, step back, let the emotions settle, and then choose your next move with clarity and purpose. Another powerful technique is the 10-second rule. Before reacting, count to 10 in your mind. This brief pause creates distance between stimulus and response, giving your rational mind the opportunity to step in. Studies in neuroscience show that emotions only last about 90 seconds unless we fuel them. This means that if you simply pause and allow the emotion to pass, you will regain full control over your response. Now, imagine applying this practice to your everyday life. Imagine no longer getting pulled into pointless arguments, no longer letting stress control your decisions, and no longer regretting your words or actions. Imagine handling every situation with a sense of calm, confidence, and power. This is what mastering the pause gives you: the ability to dictate how you experience life, instead of letting life dictate how you feel. The world around you will not stop testing you. People will provoke you. Situations will challenge you. Unexpected difficulties will arise. But when you develop the habit of pausing before reacting, you become untouchable. Nothing can shake you, nothing can break you, and no one can control you. You reclaim your mind, your emotions, and ultimately, your life. The ability to pause before reacting is not just a technique, it is a way of life. It is a philosophy that separates those who live in chaos from those who thrive in control. If you commit to this practice, you will transform into a person who no longer bends under pressure, who no longer reacts impulsively, and who radiates a presence of calm, strength, and unshakable confidence. Your journey to power begins in the space between stimulus and response. That space is where you decide the outcome. Master the pause, and you master your life. Chapter 3. The Science of Staying Calm. Have you ever seen someone stay calm in a stressful situation while others panic, shout, or break down? Maybe it was a teacher handling an angry student, a leader making a tough decision, or an athlete staying focused under extreme pressure. These people don't stay calm by accident. They have trained their minds to respond instead of reacting. The good news? You can do the same. To understand how to stay calm, we first need to understand why people react emotionally. It all starts in the brain. There's a part of the brain called the amygdala, which acts like an alarm system. Its job is to protect you from danger by making you react quickly. Imagine you're in a jungle and a tiger jumps out. Your amygdala immediately signals your body to fight or run. This is called the fight or flight response. Your heart beats faster, your muscles tighten, and your brain focuses only on escaping danger. Now, in today's world, you're not running from tigers, but your brain still reacts the same way to modern problems. Failing an exam, receiving bad news, getting criticized, or feeling embarrassed. The amygdala treats emotional stress like physical danger, which is why people panic, get angry, or freeze under pressure. But here's the secret. There's another part of your brain called the prefrontal cortex. This is the thinking brain, responsible for logic, problem solving, and decision making. The more you strengthen this part of your brain, the more you can control your emotions and respond instead of reacting. Imagine your amygdala as an overprotective alarm system and your prefrontal cortex as a wise leader. If the leader is weak, the alarm system takes over. But if the leader is strong, it can calm the alarm and handle the situation wisely. So, how can you train your brain to stay calm? Here are some of the most powerful techniques. The first technique is controlling your breath. When you're stressed, angry, or nervous, your breathing becomes shallow and fast. This sends a signal to your brain that you are in danger, making you more emotional. But if you control your breathing, you send a different message. I am calm. I am in control. Try the 4-4-6 breathing method. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Then hold your breath for 4 seconds. Then exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 seconds. Repeat this 3 to 5 times until you feel calmer. This technique slows your heart rate, relaxes your muscles, and activates your logical brain. That's why top athletes, Navy SEALs, and world leaders use breathing exercises to stay calm under pressure. The second technique is delayed response. Not every situation needs an immediate reaction. Most of the time, when you react too quickly, you say or do something you regret later. Learning to delay your response gives you time to think and choose the best course of action. Ways to practice this. If someone sends you an angry message, wait at least 10 minutes before replying. If someone insults you, don't respond immediately. Walk away or take a deep breath before saying anything. If something makes you anxious, remind yourself, I don't need to react now. I can think about it first. This technique helps you avoid unnecessary conflicts, stress, and regret. The third technique is change your perspective. Your emotions are often controlled by how you see the situation. If you think, this is terrible, I can't handle this, your brain believes it's true, and you feel more stressed. But if you reframe the situation, you can stay calm. The third step is to reframe the triggered thought. Triggers happen because your brain associates a present situation with a past one, even when they are completely different. The problem is, your brain often gets it wrong. You feel the same intense emotions, even when the situation doesn't deserve such a big reaction. To break this cycle, you need to reframe the way you think about your triggers. This means consciously questioning whether your emotional reaction is based on the present or a past memory. Instead of assuming the worst, challenge the thought. Ask yourself, is this situation really the same as the past? Am I reacting based on facts or emotions? And what is the best way to see this situation differently? The fourth step is to pause and choose your response. When triggered, your brain wants to react immediately. But reacting is emotional, responding is powerful. Before reacting, stop yourself. Count to 5 in your head. Take a slow, deep breath to calm your nervous system. Label the emotion by saying to yourself, I feel angry, or I feel defensive. When you name your emotion, it loses power over you. Then, ask yourself, what is the smartest way to handle this? Instead of letting emotions take control, give yourself the power to respond in a way that benefits you in the long run. The 5th step is to create a mental shield. People will test you. The world will test you. You will be criticized, insulted, and provoked. The secret to handling these situations is to develop a mental shield, a mindset that protects you from emotional triggers. Detach emotionally by reminding yourself, this is about them, not me. Stay in control, because the calmer you are, the more power you have. Losing your temper means losing control. See the bigger picture by asking, will this matter in 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 years? Most of the time, the answer is no. Don't give people power over you. If someone insults you and you react, they win. If you remain calm, you win. The best way to test your mental shield is to practice not reacting. The next time someone tries to trigger you, observe your emotions but don't act on them. You will start noticing that you feel more in control, and over time, emotional triggers will lose their power over you. The 6th step is to build emotional resilience. Breaking free from triggers isn't just about avoiding negative reactions, it's about building emotional strength. This means training your mind to handle stress, criticism, and difficult situations without falling apart. Expose yourself to small stresses on purpose. Speak up in a meeting, even if it makes you nervous. Have a difficult conversation instead of avoiding it. The more you face challenges, the less they will trigger you. Adopt a growth mindset by changing how you think. Instead of thinking, I can't handle this, start thinking, this is a chance to grow stronger. Take care of your mind and body because exercise, proper nutrition and sleep contribute to emotional balance. Your emotions should serve you, not control you. Triggers can make you a prisoner of your past, but once you understand and control them, you become free. Imagine living in a way where criticism doesn't shake you, insults don't get a reaction from you, and stressful situations don't make you panic. That level of control is possible, but only if you do the work. The next time you feel triggered, don't fall into the same old reaction. Instead, pause, breathe, reframe, and respond with control. This is how you go from being emotionally reactive to emotionally powerful. Remember, you are not your emotions. You are the one who controls them. The more you train yourself, the less power anything or anyone has over you. And when you master this skill, nothing can break you. Chapter 5. Fear is a liar. Fear is one of the biggest obstacles to staying calm and in control. It makes people react instead of respond, trapping them in a cycle of anxiety, hesitation, and emotional overreaction. Fear is a master manipulator. It whispers lies in your ear, convincing you that you are not good enough, that you will fail, that you should play it safe and never take risks. The biggest mistake people make is believing those lies. They let fear dictate their actions, causing them to hesitate, second-guess themselves, and avoid situations that could lead to growth. But here's the truth. Fear is not reality. It is a story that your mind creates based on past experiences, worst-case scenarios, and negative assumptions. The first step is to understand how fear works. The human brain is wired for survival. Long ago, when humans lived in the wild, fear kept them alive. If they heard a noise in the bushes, fear told them to run. If they saw an unfamiliar situation, fear made them cautious. This instinct was necessary for survival. But in today's world, the dangers we face are no longer physical. They are emotional and psychological. People fear public speaking, failure, rejection, or making mistakes. The problem is that the brain still reacts as if these situations are life-threatening. The body goes into fight or flight mode, heart pounding, muscles tensing, mind racing. But the truth is, there is no real danger. Most fears are illusions. The second step is to recognize that fear makes you react impulsively instead of responding wisely. When fear takes over, people either run from the situation, attack it with aggression, or freeze, unable to act at all. Fear hijacks the logical part of the brain, shutting down clear thinking. This is why people make bad decisions when they are scared. They lash out, withdraw, or hesitate until the opportunity passes them by. The key to overcoming fear is learning to pause, breathe, and take back control of your mind before fear dictates your actions. The third step is to reframe fear as a challenge instead of a threat. Instead of seeing fear as a warning to stop, see it as a sign that you are stepping into something bigger than yourself. Every successful person in history has faced fear. The difference is, they did not let it stop them. They felt the fear and moved forward anyway. Fear is not a stop sign. It is a signal that you are about to grow. The next time fear creeps in, instead of saying, "This is too much, I can't handle this," tell yourself, "This is uncomfortable, but it means I am becoming stronger." The fourth step is to break fear's control with action. Fear feeds on hesitation. The longer you wait, the stronger fear becomes. Imagine standing at the edge of a diving board. The more you hesitate, the scarier the jump feels. But the moment you leap, the fear disappears. Action kills fear. If you are afraid of public speaking, start by speaking to one person, then a small group, then a larger audience. If you fear failure, take small risks and build confidence. The more you face fear, the weaker it becomes. The fifth step is to use the 3-second rule. Fear thrives in hesitation. The longer you wait, the more excuses your brain will create. To break this cycle, count down 3, 2, 1, and act before fear has time to stop you. This simple rule is used by highly successful people to override fear-based thinking and take immediate action. Whether it is making a phone call, starting a difficult conversation, or taking a bold step forward, the 3-second rule forces you to move before fear can talk you out of it. The sixth step is to train yourself with small doses of fear. One of the best ways to reduce fear is to expose yourself to it in controlled amounts. If social situations make you nervous, start by making small talk with strangers. If rejection terrifies you, put yourself in situations where you might get a no. Every time you face fear in small ways, your brain learns that it is not as dangerous as it seems. Over time, things that once seemed terrifying become normal. The seventh step is to separate fear from reality. The problem with fear is that it exaggerates situations. It makes small problems seem massive, turning unlikely failures into certain disasters. But most of the things you fear will never happen. Ask yourself, What is the worst that can actually happen? Most of the time, the worst case scenario is not as bad as your mind makes it seem. And even if it does happen, you will survive it, learn from it, and move forward. Instead of letting fear control your imagination, focus on logical thinking. The 8th step is to adopt the mindset of a warrior. Imagine a Navy SEAL in the middle of a high-pressure mission. If they let fear take over, they fail. But instead of letting fear control them, they train their minds to stay calm, adapt, and respond instead of react. Warriors do not eliminate fear. They use it as motivation. The next time you feel fear creeping in, ask yourself, how would a warrior handle this? Instead of shrinking back, stand tall, breathe deeply, and push forward. The 9th step is to turn fear into excitement. Fear and excitement feel almost the same in the body. A racing heart, adrenaline, heightened focus. The only difference is how your brain interprets it. Before a big presentation, instead of saying, "I'm nervous," tell yourself, "I'm excited." Before taking a risk, instead of saying, "This is scary," say, "This is an adventure." Your words shape your emotions. By reframing fear as excitement, you transform anxiety into confidence. The 10th step is to remember that courage is not the absence of fear. It is acting despite fear. Every great leader, athlete, or successful person feels fear. The difference is, they do not let it stop them. The presence of fear does not mean you are weak. It means you're human. What matters is what you do despite the fear. The bravest people are not those who feel no fear. They are the ones who move forward anyway. The final step is to rewrite your relationship with fear. Instead of seeing it as something negative, see it as a teacher. Fear shows you where your limits are so you can push past them. Fear forces you to grow if you let it. The choice is yours. You can let fear control your life, or you can control fear. Imagine a version of yourself who no longer hesitates, no longer overthinks, and no longer lets fear dictate decisions. That version of you is completely possible. It starts with the choice to stop believing fear's lies. Fear is a liar. It tells you that you cannot when you can. It tells you that you will fail when you have the power to succeed. It tells you to stay small when you were meant for more. The moment you stop listening to fear, your life begins to change. Every time fear whispers, answer back with action. Show fear that it no longer controls you. Step forward, take the risk, and choose courage over comfort. Because in the end, fear is only as powerful as you allow it to be. Chapter 6. The Power of Controlled Breathing. Most people think staying calm is about willpower, but the real secret lies in something much simpler: your breath. The way you breathe affects your emotions, your mental clarity, and even your ability to handle stress. When you're anxious, angry, or frustrated, your breathing becomes shallow and rapid. This signals your brain that you are in danger, making your heart race and your muscles tense up. But when you control your breath, you send a different message to your brain. I am safe. I am in control. That one shift can instantly change how you feel and how you respond to situations. The first step is to understand why breathing is so powerful. Your body has an automatic response system called the autonomic nervous system, which controls involuntary actions like your heartbeat and digestion. This system has two main parts: the sympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for the fight or flight response, and the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps you relax and recover. When you're stressed, your sympathetic system takes over, making you feel tense, emotional, and ready to react. But when you take slow, deep breaths, you activate the parasympathetic system, telling your body to calm down. This is why controlled breathing is one of the fastest ways to shift from an emotional reaction to a thoughtful response. The second step is to learn the 4-4-6 breathing technique. This is a simple yet powerful method that helps you regain control in moments of stress. To practice it, inhale deeply through your nose for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4 seconds, and then exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 seconds. The key is to make your exhale longer than your inhale, because this signals your body to relax. The next time you feel overwhelmed, try this technique for a few minutes. You will notice that your heart rate slows down, your mind clears, and your emotions settle. The third step is to use breathing to stop anger before it controls you. Anger is one of the most dangerous emotions because it makes you react impulsively, often leading to regret. When you feel anger rising, take a deep breath and focus on slowing down your exhale. This small action gives your brain time to switch from reacting to thinking. If someone says something that upsets you, instead of snapping back, inhale deeply and exhale slowly before responding. This 1-second pause can prevent arguments, maintain relationships, and keep you in control of your emotions. The fourth step is to practice the box breathing method. This technique is widely used by Navy SEALs, athletes, and high-performance professionals to stay calm under extreme pressure. To do this, breathe in for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and then hold your breath again for 4 seconds before repeating the cycle. The steady rhythm of box breathing helps to reset your nervous system, keeping you focused and composed even in the most stressful situations. The fifth step is to use breathing for anxiety relief. Anxiety often comes from overthinking the future or worrying about things you can't control. When this happens, your body responds as if there is a real physical threat, even if the danger only exists in your mind. If you feel anxious, shift your focus to your breath. Instead of getting lost in your thoughts, breathe in deeply, hold for a moment, and then breathe out slowly, focusing on the sensation of air leaving your body. Doing this for just a few minutes can break the cycle of anxiety and bring you back to the present moment. The sixth step is to develop a daily breathing habit. Controlled breathing is most effective when it becomes a regular practice, not just something you use in moments of stress. Spend a few minutes every morning practicing deep breathing exercises. You can do this while lying in bed, sitting quietly, or even during a walk. By training your body to breathe properly every day, you will naturally become calmer and more in control in stressful situations. The seventh step is to combine breathing with visualization. When you breathe deeply, picture yourself exhaling stress and inhaling calmness. Imagine your body becoming lighter with each breath, as if you are letting go of all tension and negativity. This technique is especially useful before a big event, like an exam, interview, or public speaking engagement. By pairing deep breathing with a positive mental image, you reinforce a sense of confidence and control. The eighth step is to use breathing as a tool for better decision-making. Many bad decisions are made in a state of emotional distress. When your emotions are running high, your brain is focused on immediate reactions rather than long-term thinking. If you ever feel pressure to make a quick decision, take a few slow breaths first. This simple action can shift your thinking from impulsive to rational, helping you make better choices in both personal and professional situations. The 9th step is to use breathing to improve your sleep. Many people struggle with falling asleep because their minds are racing with thoughts from the day. Deep breathing can help you transition from a state of alertness to relaxation. Try the 4-7-8 breathing technique before bed. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7 seconds, and exhale for 8 seconds. This pattern slows down your heart rate and calms your nervous system, making it easier to fall asleep and stay asleep. The 10th step is to use breathing to improve your physical performance. Whether you're working out, playing sports, or simply trying to maintain energy throughout the day, controlled breathing can help you perform better. When you take deep, steady breaths, you increase the oxygen supply to your muscles and brain, improving endurance and focus. Many athletes use rhythmic breathing techniques to stay in control during competition, and you can apply the same strategies in your daily life to stay strong and alert. The 11th step is to recognize that breathing is the anchor to the present moment. When you are lost in stress, fear, or frustration, your breath is always available as a tool to bring you back to the now. No matter where you are or what is happening, you can always pause, take a deep breath, and reset your mind. The more you practice using your breath as a tool, the more natural it will become to remain calm and composed in any situation. The final step is to understand that breathing is not just a technique, it is a way of life. The way you breathe affects the way you feel, think, and act. By mastering controlled breathing, you gain the ability to manage stress, control emotions, and make better decisions. Imagine a life where frustration doesn't take over, where stress doesn't consume you, and where anxiety doesn't hold you back. That level of peace and control is within your reach, and it starts with something as simple as a single breath. The power of controlled breathing is one of the most underrated tools for emotional and mental mastery. It requires no equipment, no cost, and no special environment. It is always available to you, waiting to be used. The next time you feel overwhelmed, remember that you already have the solution within you. Take a deep breath, slow down, and reclaim your power. The ability to stay calm in any situation is not about suppressing emotions. It's about guiding them with intention, and with every breath, you are training yourself to respond, not react. Chapter 7. Silence is your superpower. Silence is one of the most powerful tools you can master. In a world where people rush to speak, where arguments are won by volume rather than wisdom, and where impulsive words cause unnecessary damage, the ability to stay silent is a rare and valuable skill. Silence commands respect, builds presence, and allows you to observe and understand situations before responding. It gives you power over your emotions, over conversations, and over how others perceive you. Those who know when to stay silent and when to speak are the ones who truly control any situation. The first step is to understand why silence is so powerful. Most people assume that the loudest person in the room has the most control, but in reality, it is the one who listens more than they speak who holds the real power. When you speak too quickly, you reveal your emotions, thoughts, and weaknesses before you have had time to assess the situation. But when you stay silent, you give yourself time to think, to observe, and to respond with clarity instead of reacting emotionally. Silence creates a sense of mystery, making people pay more attention to you when you do choose to speak. Those who talk less are perceived as more confident, more intelligent, and more in control. The second step is to master the power of the pause. Most people feel the need to fill silence with words, even when they have nothing valuable to say. They blurt out thoughts impulsively, say things they regret, or reveal too much information. But when you pause before speaking, you give yourself time to choose your words carefully. In a conversation, when someone asks you a question, instead of answering immediately, pause for a moment. This pause gives your mind time to form a thoughtful response, rather than reacting impulsively. It also makes people listen more carefully to what you say, because it signals that you are choosing your words with intention. The third step is to use silence as a tool for control in conversations. People who struggle with emotional control often talk too much, especially when they feel nervous, anxious, or defensive. When they are criticized, they rush to defend themselves. When they feel uncomfortable, they ramble. But silence is a much more powerful response. Imagine someone insults you or tries to provoke you. If you react immediately with anger, you give them exactly what they want, a response. But if you remain silent, looking at them calmly without saying a word, they lose their power. Silence forces them to feel uncomfortable, to second-guess themselves, and to wonder what you are thinking. This is why silence is often the best response to negativity. It makes you appear unshaken, unaffected, and completely in control. The fourth step is to understand that silence is a sign of confidence. People who lack confidence often feel the need to prove themselves through words. They interrupt, they over-explain, they try to impress others by talking constantly. But truly confident people do not need to prove anything. They know that their presence, their actions, and their carefully chosen words are enough. They're comfortable with silence because they are secure in themselves. When you learn to stay silent instead of rushing to speak, people begin to see you as more confident, more self-assured, and more powerful. The fifth step is to use silence in negotiations and arguments. In any negotiation, the person who speaks first usually loses. Silence creates pressure. When you make an offer or state your position, remain silent and wait. Most people feel uncomfortable with silence, so they rush to fill the gap, often by giving away more than they intended. The same applies to arguments. When someone is trying to provoke you, silence makes them uneasy. Instead of arguing back, simply pause, take a breath, and say nothing. This forces them to reflect on their words and often weakens their position. The sixth step is to practice active listening. Most people do not listen to understand. They listen to respond. They are so focused on what they will say next that they miss important details. But when you practice active listening, giving your full attention without interrupting, you gain valuable insights. You pick up on things others miss, you understand people's true intentions, and you build deeper connections. When you listen more than you speak, you become a person of wisdom rather than someone who speaks just to be heard. The seventh step is to use silence to process emotions. When something upsets you, your first reaction is often impulsive and emotional. But reacting immediately usually leads to regret. Instead of speaking when you're angry, anxious, or overwhelmed, practice staying silent. Give yourself space to process your emotions before responding. This prevents you from saying something you will later regret, and allows you to choose a response that is in line with your values and long-term goals. The ability to stay silent in moments of emotional intensity is a true sign of self-mastery. The 8th step is to use silence to create presence and respect. Some of the most respected individuals in history were people of few words. They did not speak often, but when they did, their words carried weight. This is because they understood the power of restraint. They knew that speaking less made people value their words more. If you want to be respected, do not waste words. Speak only when necessary, and when you do, make sure your words have meaning. The 9th step is to use silence to handle difficult people. There will always be people who try to provoke, criticize, or manipulate you. The best way to deal with them is through silence. When someone tries to start an argument, do not engage. When someone insults you, do not respond. When someone is trying to get a reaction from you, remain calm and say nothing. This robs them of their power and keeps you in control. The 10th step is to embrace silence in daily life. Silence is not just a tool for handling conversations, it is also a tool for inner peace. In today's world, people are constantly bombarded with noise, social media, news, opinions, distractions. This noise makes it difficult to think clearly, to focus, and to find calmness. Taking time for silence every day allows you to reset your mind. Whether it is through meditation, a quiet walk, or simply sitting without distractions, silence helps you connect with yourself. It gives you clarity, reduces stress, and strengthens your ability to remain calm in any situation. The final step is to understand that silence is not about weakness, it is about strength. Many people mistake silence for passivity, but in reality, it is one of the greatest signs of self-control. Those who cannot stay silent are controlled by their emotions. They react impulsively, they overshare, they let others push their buttons. But those who master silence are in command of themselves. They choose their words carefully, they do not let others control their emotions, and they move through life with calmness and confidence. Imagine yourself in a difficult situation. Someone is provoking you, waiting for you to react. Instead of giving them what they want, you remain silent. You breathe deeply, observe the situation, and choose your response with clarity and strength. This is the power of silence. It protects your energy, enhances your presence, and gives you control over any interaction. Mastering silence is not about speaking less. It is about speaking with purpose. It is about knowing when to stay quiet, when to listen, and when to let your presence speak louder than words. When you develop the ability to use silence strategically, you become untouchable. You gain respect, you stay in control, and most importantly, you cultivate a deep sense of inner peace. The world is filled with noise, but those who know the value of silence are the ones who hold true power. Chapter 8. How to win arguments without arguing. In every interaction, whether personal or professional, disagreements are inevitable. People have different opinions, beliefs, and ways of thinking, and at some point, you will find yourself in a situation where someone challenges your views, criticizes your actions, or provokes a response. Most people assume that winning an argument means proving the other person wrong, speaking louder, or overpowering them with facts. But in reality, The people who truly win arguments are not the ones who argue the most. They are the ones who stay calm, control the conversation, and get what they want without unnecessary conflict. The secret to winning arguments is not in arguing, it is in responding with intelligence, strategy, and emotional control. The first step is to understand that arguing often makes things worse. When emotions take over, logic disappears. Most people do not argue to find the truth. They argue to defend their ego. They want to be right more than they want to understand. As a result, arguments often escalate into personal attacks, frustration, and resentment. Instead of resolving a disagreement, people leave feeling more divided than before. The person who stays calm, listens carefully, and responds strategically always has the upper hand. Winning an argument does not mean making the other person admit defeat. It means controlling the situation in a way that benefits you without unnecessary conflict. The second step is to control your emotions before responding. When someone challenges you, your natural instinct might be to defend yourself immediately, raise your voice, or react aggressively. But reacting emotionally puts you at a disadvantage. It makes you look weak and impulsive, while the person who remains calm appears stronger and more in control. Before responding, take a deep breath, slow down your reaction, and remind yourself that your goal is not to argue. It is to guide the conversation in a way that benefits you. The calmer you are, the more power you have in any discussion. The third step is to listen more than you speak. Most people in an argument are so focused on what they are going to say next that they do not actually listen to the other person. But when you truly listen, you gain valuable information. You understand the other person's fears, frustrations, and motivations. This allows you to shape your response in a way that addresses their concerns while still achieving your goal. People feel respected when they are listened to, and when they feel respected, they are more likely to lower their defenses and consider your point of view. The fourth step is to ask questions instead of making statements. If you tell someone they are wrong, they will become defensive and resist anything you say. But if you ask a question that makes them reflect on their position, they are more likely to change their own mind. Instead of saying, "That's not true," ask, "What makes you think that?" Instead of saying, "You're wrong," ask, "Have you considered this perspective?" Questions force the other person to think critically rather than automatically defending their stance. It shifts the conversation from a battle of opinions to a discussion where both sides consider new possibilities. The fifth step is to use the power of silence. When someone challenges you, they expect an immediate reaction. If you pause and remain silent for a few seconds before responding, it creates a moment of tension that forces them to reconsider their words. Silence is a tool that makes people uncomfortable and often causes them to rethink their position. It also gives you time to process the situation and choose your words wisely instead of reacting impulsively. The sixth step is to agree where possible before presenting your point. If you immediately start by opposing someone, they will resist everything you say. But if you find something in their argument to agree with, they will be more open to hearing your perspective. Even if you disagree with most of what they say, start with something like, "I see where you're coming from," or "I understand why you feel that way." This lowers their defenses and makes them more willing to listen. Once you have established common ground, you can introduce your perspective in a way that doesn't feel confrontational. The seventh step is to control the tone of your voice. In an argument, people often raise their voices when they feel frustrated or defensive. But the person who speaks calmly and steadily always has the most control. When you lower your voice instead of raising it, the other person subconsciously lowers theirs as well. A calm voice makes you appear confident, rational, and in control. It also forces the other person to listen more carefully because they have to focus to hear what you are saying. The 8th step is to reframe the argument in a way that benefits both sides. Instead of trying to win by making the other person lose, find a way to present your position as something that benefits them as well. People are more likely to change their minds when they feel like they are gaining something rather than losing. If you make them feel like accepting your point of view is in their best interest, they will be more open to considering it. The 9th step is to avoid personal attacks at all costs. The moment an argument turns into insults, accusations, or character attacks, it is no longer about the topic. It is about defending pride. When you remain respectful, even if the other person becomes aggressive, you maintain control over the conversation. Responding with insults or sarcasm only escalates the situation. Instead, stay calm, keep your words measured, and focus on the issue rather than attacking the person. The 10th step is to know when to walk away. Not every argument is worth engaging in. Some people are not looking for a solution, they just want to fight. If someone is too emotional, too aggressive, or unwilling to listen, the best strategy is to disengage. Walking away is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that you value your energy and peace of mind. If an argument is not productive, calmly say, "I don't think this conversation is going anywhere," and remove yourself from the situation. People who master the art of walking away when necessary always maintain control over their emotions and their environment. The final step is to remember that true power comes from emotional control. Arguments are won not by those who shout the loudest, but by those who stay the calmest. The ability to remain composed, listen carefully, and respond strategically gives you the upper hand in any conversation. People who can keep their emotions in check while others lose control always come out ahead. Imagine yourself in a heated discussion. The other person is becoming frustrated, raising their voice, and trying to push your buttons. But instead of reacting emotionally, you stay calm. You pause before speaking, listen carefully, and ask thoughtful questions. The other person, expecting a fight, is caught off guard by your composed response. Slowly, their defensiveness lowers, and the conversation shifts from confrontation to understanding. By the end, you have guided the discussion in your favor, without ever needing to argue. Winning arguments without arguing is not about manipulation or trickery. It is about being emotionally intelligent, understanding human nature, and using communication effectively. It is about knowing that true power is not in forcing others to submit to your view, but in influencing them in a way that feels natural and respectful. The next time you find yourself in a disagreement, remember that you do not have to fight to win. Stay calm, stay in control, and let your intelligence, strategy, and silence do the work for you. The person who masters the ability to win arguments without conflict is the one who truly holds the power. Chapter 9. Turning pain into power. Pain is an unavoidable part of life. Everyone experiences setbacks, failures, heartbreaks, and disappointments. Most people see pain as something negative, something to avoid, something that weakens them. But the truth is, pain is one of the most powerful tools for growth. If you learn how to use it, pain can break you, or it can build you. It can leave you feeling helpless, or it can make you stronger than ever before. The difference lies in your mindset. The people who achieve greatness in life are not those who have never suffered. They are the ones who have learned to turn their pain into power. The first step is to stop resisting pain. Many people try to run from their pain, ignore it, or numb it with distractions. They avoid difficult emotions, pretend they are fine, or bury their struggles under work, entertainment, or unhealthy habits. But pain does not disappear just because you avoid it. It waits. And the more you ignore it, the more power it has over you. The only way to turn pain into power is to face it head on. Instead of running from it, acknowledge it. Instead of suppressing it, allow yourself to feel it fully. This is not a sign of weakness. It is the first step toward transforming pain into strength. The second step is to understand that pain is a teacher. Every painful experience carries a lesson, but only if you are willing to look for it. When something painful happens, ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? If you failed at something, it might be teaching you resilience. If someone betrayed you, it might be teaching you to trust yourself more. If you lost something valuable, it might be teaching you gratitude. Pain is never meaningless unless you refuse to learn from it. The most successful and resilient people in the world have all faced pain, but they used it to grow instead of letting it break them. The third step is to stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "How can I use this?" Many people get stuck in a victim mindset. They focus on how unfair their pain is, how difficult their circumstances are, and how life has treated them badly. But this mindset keeps them powerless. Instead, shift your thinking. Instead of seeing yourself as a victim of your pain, see yourself as someone who is being shaped by it. Ask yourself, how can this experience make me better? Instead of dwelling on what was lost, focus on what can be gained. The fourth step is to transform pain into fuel. Pain creates intense emotions, anger, sadness, frustration. Instead of letting these emotions consume you, use them as fuel to push forward. Some of the most successful people in history were driven by their pain. Athletes train harder because they remember the pain of losing. Entrepreneurs build empires because they remember the pain of struggle. Artists create masterpieces because they channel their heartbreak into their work. Pain, when directed properly, can create unstoppable motivation. The next time you feel pain, instead of drowning in it, use it as energy to take action. The fifth step is to find meaning in your struggles. The most powerful way to transform pain is to turn it into something bigger than yourself. Some of the greatest leaders, speakers, and influencers have used their own pain to help others. They turned their experiences into books, speeches, businesses, and movements. They did not just overcome their pain, they gave it a purpose. If you've gone through pain, you have wisdom that others need. Use your story to inspire, to guide, and to lift others up. When you do this, your pain no longer feels like a burden. It becomes a source of purpose. The sixth step is to build mental toughness through pain. Every time you survive something painful, you become stronger. When you lift weights, your muscles grow because they are broken down first. The same happens with your mind. Pain breaks you down, But if you endure it, you come back stronger. People who have never faced hardship often crumble when things get tough. But those who have faced pain, survived it, and learned from it, develop an unshakable mindset. The key is to push through the discomfort instead of giving in to it. Every time you endure pain without breaking, you build a stronger version of yourself. The 7th step is to refuse to let pain define you. Many people carry their pain like a permanent label. They let their past failures, betrayals, or losses become their identity. But you are not your pain. What happened to you is only a chapter in your story. It is not the whole book. Do not let one painful experience dictate the rest of your life. Instead, use it as a turning point. Decide that this pain will be the reason you grow, not the reason you stay stuck. The 8th step is to practice gratitude in the face of pain. This may seem difficult, but it is one of the most powerful mindset shifts you can make. Instead of focusing on what pain has taken from you, focus on what it has given you. Maybe it made you stronger. Maybe it made you wiser. Maybe it showed you who truly cares about you. No matter how painful an experience is, there is always something to be grateful for. Gratitude shifts your focus from suffering to growth, from loss to opportunity. The 9th step is to realize that pain is temporary. When you are in the middle of it, pain feels endless. But nothing lasts forever. Time moves forward, wounds heal, and emotions fade. What feels overwhelming today will be just a memory in the future. The key is to remind yourself that you can survive this. You have survived every painful experience in your life so far. You are still here. You are stronger than your pain. When you remember that pain is temporary, you stop letting it control you. The 10th step is to turn pain into wisdom. Pain forces you to look at life differently. It shows you who you are, what you can endure, and what truly matters. People who have never faced struggles often lack depth and perspective. But those who have been through pain develop a wisdom that cannot be learned in any other way. Use that wisdom. Apply it to your life. Use it to make better decisions, to help others, and to create a future that is stronger than your past. The final step is to let pain make you better, not bitter. Many people allow pain to make them angry, resentful, and closed off. They build walls around themselves, afraid to trust, afraid to try again. But that is not strength. That is fear disguised as strength. True strength is using pain to become wiser, kinder, and more resilient. True strength is saying, yes, this hurt me, but I will not let it harden me. I will use it to grow. Imagine looking back on your life years from now. Will you see yourself as someone who let pain hold them back, or as someone who used every challenge as a stepping stone to greatness? Pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. You can let pain break you, or you can let it build you. The most powerful people are not those who have never been hurt. They are the ones who turned their pain into power. Starting today, refuse to be controlled by your past. Refuse to let pain make you small. Instead, use it as a source of strength. Turn every failure into a lesson. Turn every setback into a comeback. Turn every hardship into a reason to rise. Pain is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of something greater. And once you learn how to use it, nothing can stop you. Chapter 10. Training your mind like a Zen warrior. The mind is like a battlefield. Every day you face distractions, stress, doubts, and emotions that try to pull you in different directions. If your mind is weak, you will be controlled by circumstances. If your mind is strong, you will control how you respond to everything. The key to mental strength is training your mind like a Zen warrior. A Zen warrior is not someone who fights battles with weapons. They fight battles within themselves. They train their mind to remain calm under pressure, to make clear decisions, and to stay focused regardless of what is happening around them. This level of mental discipline does not happen by accident. It is developed through consistent training. The first step is to master the art of stillness. Most people live in a constant state of mental chaos. Their thoughts race, their emotions shift unpredictably, and they react to everything happening around them. A Zen warrior trains their mind to be still, even when the world is chaotic. Stillness does not mean inaction. It means developing a state of internal calm that allows you to observe situations clearly without reacting impulsively. One way to train stillness is to sit in silence for a few minutes every day. No phone, no distractions, just you and your thoughts. At first, your mind will resist. It will try to pull you into overthinking, but the more you practice, the more you will develop the ability to sit with your thoughts without being controlled by them. The second step is to train your breath. Breathing is the foundation of mental control. When you control your breath, you control your emotions. When you lose control of your breath, your emotions take over. A Zen warrior breathes deeply and steadily in all situations, whether they are in the middle of a storm or standing in silence. Deep, intentional breathing sends a signal to your brain that you are in control. It lowers your heart rate, clears your mind, and brings you back to the present moment. If you feel overwhelmed, take slow, deep breaths in through your nose and exhale slowly through your mouth. This simple technique can instantly shift your mental state from reactive to responsive. The third step is to detach from emotional reactions. One of the greatest strengths of a Zen warrior is their ability to remain unaffected by external events. Most people react emotionally to everything. If someone insults them, they get angry. If something goes wrong, they panic. But a Zen warrior understands that reacting emotionally gives power to the situation. Instead, they pause before responding. The next time you feel yourself getting emotional, take a step back and observe what is happening. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Will this matter in a year? Am I reacting or responding? Developing this habit allows you to remain in control, no matter what is happening around you. The fourth step is to train your mind to focus on the present. The human mind has a tendency to dwell on the past or worry about the future. This creates unnecessary stress and anxiety. A Zen warrior trains themselves to be fully present in the moment. They do not waste energy regretting what has already happened or fearing what might happen. Instead, they focus completely on the task in front of them. You can train this ability by practicing single tasking. When you are working, focus only on the work. When you are eating, focus only on eating. When you are talking to someone, give them your full attention. The more you train your mind to stay in the present, the more control you will have over your emotions and thoughts. The fifth step is to embrace discomfort. A Zen warrior does not avoid difficulty, they welcome it as a form of training. Discomfort is where growth happens. If you always avoid discomfort, you remain weak. If you train yourself to be comfortable with discomfort, you become unshakable. One way to practice this is by deliberately putting yourself in challenging situations. Take cold showers, do difficult workouts, or push yourself outside of your comfort zone in conversations. The more you expose yourself to controlled discomfort, the stronger your mind will become when facing real challenges. The sixth step is to eliminate unnecessary noise. Most people consume too much information, filling their minds with negativity, distractions, and opinions that do not serve them. A Zen warrior is selective about what they allow into their mind. They do not waste energy on gossip, unnecessary arguments, or mindless distractions. To train your mind like a Zen warrior, reduce the amount of time you spend consuming useless information. Stop engaging in pointless drama. Spend more time in silence. The less noise you allow in, the more clarity you will have. The seventh step is to develop a morning discipline. How you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. Most people wake up and immediately check their phones, filling their minds with distractions before they have even taken a breath. A Zen warrior starts their day with intention. They wake up early, practice stillness, set their mindset, and prepare themselves for the challenges ahead. You can create your own morning discipline by spending the first 30 minutes of your day in a way that strengthens your mind. Meditate, stretch, breathe deeply, and set your focus for the day. The eighth step is to train yourself to let go of what you cannot control. Most stress comes from trying to control things that are outside of your power. A Zen warrior accepts reality as it is. They do not waste energy complaining about things they can't change. Instead, they focus on their response to the situation. The next time you feel frustrated, ask yourself, is this something I can control? If the answer is no, let it go. Redirect your focus to what you can control: your mindset, your actions, and your attitude. The ninth step is to use obstacles as training. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to strengthen your mind. Instead of seeing difficulties as problems, see them as training sessions for mental toughness. A Zen warrior does not get frustrated when things go wrong. They see setbacks as opportunities to improve. If you face a challenge, instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" say, "How can this make me stronger?" This shift in perspective will transform the way you handle difficulties. The 10th step is to commit to lifelong training. Mental mastery is not something you achieve once. It is something you practice daily. A Zen warrior never stops training their mind. They constantly refine their discipline, their focus, and their emotional control. The key is consistency. Every day find small ways to strengthen your mental resilience. Push yourself slightly harder than the day before. Stay disciplined even when you don't feel like it. Over time, this daily training will make you unstoppable. The final step is to embody the mindset of a true warrior. A Zen warrior is not just someone who remains calm. They are someone who moves through life with purpose, strength, and unwavering focus. They do not let circumstances dictate their emotions. They do not waste energy on things that do not matter. They control their reactions, their thoughts, and their actions with precision. Imagine yourself embodying this mindset. Imagine facing any challenge with complete calm. Imagine being unaffected by negativity, staying focused under pressure, and responding to life's difficulties with wisdom instead of frustration. Training your mind like a Zen warrior is the path to unshakable inner strength. It is the difference between being controlled by life and taking control of your life. The world is chaotic, unpredictable, and full of distractions. But if you train your mind, none of that will shake you. You will remain steady, focused, and powerful. Master this mindset, and you will master yourself. And once you master yourself, nothing in the world can stop you. Chapter 11. The secret to controlling anger. Anger is one of the most powerful emotions a person can experience. It has the ability to destroy relationships, ruin opportunities, and push people to say or do things they later regret. At the same time, anger is natural. It is a signal that something feels unfair, that a boundary has been crossed, or that there is deep frustration beneath the surface. The problem is not anger itself. The problem is the way most people handle it. When anger controls you, you react without thinking, often making situations worse. But when you learn to control anger, you gain an incredible advantage in life. Instead of being a victim of emotional outbursts, you become a master of your reactions, responding to difficult situations with power, clarity, and self-control. The first step is to recognize that anger is not a weakness. Many people think that if they feel angry, they have already lost control. But the truth is, anger is just an emotion, like happiness or sadness. It is not inherently bad. It is how you respond to it that determines whether it becomes destructive or productive. People who suppress anger completely often end up with built-up resentment, while those who let anger take over end up hurting others or making impulsive decisions. The key is to acknowledge anger when it arises without letting it dictate your actions. When you feel anger, pause and remind yourself, this is just an emotion. I am in control. The second step is to understand that anger comes from deeper emotions. Most of the time, anger is not the real problem. It is just the surface reaction to something deeper. If you look closely, you will find that anger often comes from fear, insecurity, disappointment, or past experiences. When someone insults you, your anger might actually come from a fear of being disrespected. When you get frustrated at a slow driver, your anger might be triggered by impatience or stress from something else in your life. By identifying the true source of your anger, you can address the root issue instead of just reacting to the moment. The third step is to use the 90-second rule. Neuroscientists have found that when an emotion is triggered, it lasts for about 90 seconds, unless you continue to feed it with your thoughts. If you feel a surge of anger, instead of immediately reacting, wait for 90 seconds. Take slow, deep breaths and observe your emotions without acting on them. In most cases, the intensity of the anger will start to fade, and you will be able to think more clearly. This simple technique can prevent unnecessary arguments, avoid regrettable words, and help you stay in control. The fourth step is to practice detachment. One of the main reasons people struggle with anger is that they take things too personally. They believe that every criticism, every rude comment, and every frustrating situation is a direct attack on them. But in reality, most things have little to do with you. The person who cuts you off in traffic is not thinking about you. They are just in a hurry. The coworker who speaks rudely might be dealing with stress of their own. When you detach yourself from situations, you stop seeing them as personal attacks and start seeing them as neutral events. This makes it much easier to stay calm and respond with wisdom. The fifth step is to change the way you speak to yourself when angry. Most people, when they feel anger, repeat negative thoughts in their minds. They tell themselves, "This is unfair. I can't believe they said that," or "I'm going to let them know how wrong they are." These thoughts keep the anger alive, making it stronger. But if you change your inner dialogue, you change your emotional response. Instead of repeating thoughts that fuel your anger, try saying, "This is not worth my energy. I choose to stay calm," or "Let me think before I act." By shifting your mental focus, you redirect your emotions from reaction to response. The sixth step is to use physical movement to release anger. Anger creates energy in the body. If this energy is not released, it builds up and explodes in unhealthy ways. One of the best ways to process anger is through movement. Go for a walk, do a workout, practice deep breathing, or stretch your body. Physical movement helps reset your nervous system, allowing your body to release tension and return to a state of calm. Many people find that by the time they finish a short walk or a few minutes of exercise, their anger has significantly decreased and they can think more clearly. The seventh step is to communicate effectively when angry. Many people bottle up their anger until they explode, saying things they regret. Others avoid confrontation completely, allowing resentment to build up over time. The key is to find a balance, expressing your emotions in a way that is calm, clear, and productive. If someone upsets you, instead of accusing them or shouting, try saying, "I felt frustrated when this happened. Can we talk about it?" By framing your words in a non-threatening way, you open the door for discussion rather than argument. The eighth step is to create space before responding. When anger is triggered, people often feel an immediate need to react. But in most cases, there is no urgency. You do not have to respond to an insult immediately. You do not have to answer an angry email right away. You do not have to make a decision when you're feeling emotionally charged. The more space you create between the trigger and your response, the more control you gain. When you feel anger, step away from the situation, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what is the best way to handle this? Giving yourself even a few extra seconds can change the entire outcome. The ninth step is to practice forgiveness, not for others, but for yourself. Holding on to anger harms you more than it harms the other person. When you stay angry at someone, you give them power over your emotions. But when you choose to let go, you free yourself. Forgiveness does not mean excusing bad behavior. It means refusing to let that behavior control your emotional state. Ask yourself, is holding on to this anger helping me, or is it keeping me stuck? More often than not, the answer will be clear. The 10th step is to use humor to diffuse anger. Sometimes, the best way to break free from anger is to laugh at the situation. If you can find humor in frustrating moments, you take away their power. Imagine someone cuts you off in traffic. Instead of raging, picture them being late to a superhero audition. If someone makes a rude comment, imagine it as part of a bad comedy script. By shifting your perspective, you prevent anger from taking hold of you. The final step is to remind yourself that true strength is in remaining calm. Many people mistake anger for power. They believe that being aggressive or loud makes them strong. But true strength is the ability to stay composed when others lose control. The calmest person in the room is always the most powerful. Imagine yourself in a difficult situation. Someone is yelling, trying to provoke you. But instead of reacting, you stay calm. You breathe, you pause, and you respond with intelligence instead of emotion. That is power. That is control. Mastering anger does not mean never feeling it. It means learning how to use it, manage it, and redirect it so that it serves you instead of harming you. Every time you choose calm over chaos, every time you pause before reacting, every time you let go of anger instead of holding on to it, you are training yourself to be stronger, wiser, and more in control. The ability to control anger is one of the greatest skills you can develop, and once you master it, nothing and no one will be able to break your inner peace. Chapter 12. Mastering Patience and Emotional Resilience. Patience is one of the most underrated yet most powerful skills a person can develop. In today's world where everything moves fast, people expect instant results, quick responses, and immediate success. The moment things take longer than expected, frustration sets in, emotions rise, and reactions become impulsive. But those who master patience gain a significant advantage in life. They do not get frustrated easily, they do not let setbacks break them, and they do not waste energy on things they cannot control. Patience is not just about waiting, it is about how you wait. It is the ability to stay calm, focused, and emotionally stable, no matter how long things take or how difficult a situation becomes. The first step is to understand why patience is difficult. The human brain is wired for instant gratification. When you want something, your brain releases dopamine, a chemical associated with pleasure. The faster you get what you want, the stronger the dopamine rush. This is why people become impatient. They crave the reward now, not later. But real success, whether in relationships, business, health, or personal growth, requires long-term effort. When results do not come immediately, frustration takes over. The key to patience is training your mind to be comfortable with waiting while still working toward your goals. The second step is to recognize that impatience is a form of emotional weakness. Many people believe that reacting quickly, demanding immediate results, or forcing situations to happen faster is a sign of strength. But in reality, the strongest people are those who can remain calm even when things take time. Impatience makes people react emotionally, say things they regret, and make poor decisions. Patience, on the other hand, allows you to observe, think, and respond wisely. When you develop patience, you gain emotional resilience, the ability to handle difficulties without losing your inner peace. The third step is to reframe how you see waiting. Most people see waiting as wasted time. Whether it is waiting in traffic, waiting for a response, or waiting for success, they feel irritated and restless. But waiting is not the problem. The way you perceive waiting is the real issue. Instead of seeing it as lost time, see it as an opportunity to practice patience. When stuck in traffic, instead of getting angry, take deep breaths and observe your surroundings. If you're waiting for an important email or message instead of checking your phone every 5 minutes, shift your focus to something productive. When you train yourself to stay present during moments of waiting, you develop a powerful sense of emotional control. The fourth step is to train yourself to delay reactions. Impatience often leads to emotional outbursts, poor decision-making, and regret. When something frustrates you, your first instinct might be to react immediately. If someone insults you, you might feel the urge to snap back. If something takes longer than expected, you might be tempted to give up. But every time you react without thinking, you're reinforcing impatience. Instead, train yourself to pause before reacting. The next time you feel frustration building, take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Often, situations that seem urgent lose their intensity when you allow yourself a moment to reflect. The fifth step is to strengthen your long-term thinking. Many people struggle with patience because they focus too much on short-term rewards. If they do not see immediate progress, they lose motivation. This is why people quit diets, abandon fitness routines, or give up on personal growth. But anything worthwhile takes time. The most successful athletes, entrepreneurs, and artists didn't reach greatness overnight. They put in consistent effort over weeks, months, and even years. Imagine planting a tree. You water it every day, but for a long time, you see nothing. Then, one day, it starts to grow. The work you put in does not go to waste. It just takes time for results to appear. Learning to trust the process is key to developing patience. The sixth step is to develop patience in relationships. One of the biggest causes of conflict in relationships is impatience. People want immediate understanding, instant apologies, and fast solutions. When they do not get them, frustration leads to arguments. But communication is not about speed. It is about clarity, respect, and timing. If you are discussing a sensitive topic with someone, rushing the conversation will only make things worse. Instead, practice active listening. Let the other person speak without interrupting. When you feel the urge to react emotionally, pause and think before responding. The more patient you are in conversations, the more respect and influence you gain. The seventh step is to train yourself to remain patient under stress. Stress often makes people lose patience quickly. When you are overwhelmed, every small inconvenience feels bigger than it is. But stress is a test of emotional resilience. Instead of letting stress control you, train yourself to slow down in stressful situations. When things get chaotic, instead of reacting impulsively, take a deep breath and remind yourself, I control my response. The ability to remain calm in stressful moments is what separates strong individuals from those who crumble under pressure. The eighth step is to recognize that patience leads to better decision-making. Many bad decisions are made in a state of impatience. When emotions are high, people rush into choices without thinking them through. But great decisions require patience. The next time you feel pressure to make a quick decision, step back and ask yourself, do I need to decide this right now? More often than not, taking time to think leads to a better outcome. The ninth step is to train yourself with small challenges. Patience is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Look for small ways to practice patience every day. When standing in line, resist the urge to check your phone. When dealing with slow internet, instead of getting frustrated, take deep breaths and relax. If someone is speaking slowly, instead of interrupting, let them finish. These small exercises might seem insignificant, but they build the habit of patience, which carries over into bigger areas of life. The 10th step is to shift your focus from the outcome to the process. Many people are impatient because they are obsessed with the result. They constantly think, when will I succeed? When will I get what I want? This mindset creates stress and frustration. Instead, enjoy the process. If you are learning a new skill, focus on getting better every day rather than worrying about when you will master it. If you are working on a long-term goal, focus on the daily actions you can take instead of constantly thinking about the future. When you focus on the process, success comes naturally. The final step is to understand that patience leads to inner peace. When you are impatient, you create unnecessary stress for yourself. You feel frustrated when things don't happen fast enough, angry when people don't respond quickly, and anxious when results take longer than expected. But when you embrace patience, you let go of the need to control everything. You trust that things will happen at the right time. You stop rushing and start living. This shift in mindset brings a deep sense of peace. Instead of fighting against time, you learn to flow with it. Patience is not just about waiting. It is about how you behave while waiting. It is about staying calm, staying focused, and trusting that everything unfolds in its own time. Those who master patience gain an unshakable strength. They do not get easily frustrated. They do not quit when things get tough. And they do not allow emotions to control them. Imagine yourself in a year, 5 years, or 10 years. If you train yourself to be patient now, think of how much stronger, wiser, and more in control you will be. The choice is yours. You can live a life of frustration, always rushing, always wanting more, or you can choose patience, the path of clarity, control, and success. Chapter 13. The Power of Perspective. Your perspective is the lens through which you see the world. It determines how you interpret situations, how you respond to challenges, and ultimately, how you experience life. Two people can go through the same situation, yet one sees it as a tragedy, while the other sees it as an opportunity. The difference is not in what happened, but in how they choose to see it. Perspective is everything. It can turn obstacles into stepping stones, failures into lessons, and setbacks into comebacks. The most powerful people in the world are not those who have never struggled, but those who have mastered the ability to see every situation from a higher vantage point. When you control your perspective, you control your reality. The first step is to realize that your thoughts shape your emotions, and your emotions shape your reactions. If you believe something is unfair, you will feel angry. If you believe something is hopeless, you will feel defeated. If you believe something is an opportunity, you will feel motivated. The situation itself does not create your emotions, your perspective does. The way you think about something determines how you feel about it. This means that by shifting your thoughts, you can shift your emotions, and by shifting your emotions, you can shift your actions, instead of letting circumstances dictate your state of mind. Train yourself to choose a perspective that empowers you rather than weakens you. The second step is to develop the ability to zoom out in stressful moments. When you are in the middle of a challenge, everything feels intense and overwhelming. But most things that seem urgent today will mean nothing in a year or even a month. Imagine yourself looking at your life from a bird's eye view, seeing everything from a higher perspective. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? Most of the time the answer is no. The ability to zoom out and see the bigger picture prevents you from reacting emotionally to temporary problems. It allows you to maintain clarity, stay calm, and make decisions based on long-term wisdom rather than short-term emotions. The third step is to question the negative stories you tell yourself. The mind has a tendency to create dramatic, exaggerated and negative interpretations of events. If someone does not respond to your message, your mind might say, "They are ignoring me. They do not care." If you make a mistake at work, your mind might say, "I am a failure. I will never succeed." These thoughts feel real, but they are just stories your mind is making up. Instead of automatically believing them, ask yourself, is this really true? Or is this just my interpretation? Most of the time, the negative stories you tell yourself are not reality. They are just fear-based assumptions. By questioning them, you take away their power. The fourth step is to practice reframing situations. Reframing means looking at a situation from a different angle, one that empowers you rather than weakens you. Instead of thinking, "This is happening to me," reframe it as, "This is happening for me." Instead of saying, "I failed," reframe it as, "I learned what does not work." Instead of thinking, "This is unfair," reframe it as, "This is a test of my strength." The way you interpret a situation determines how you feel about it. Every challenge carries an opportunity, but you will only see it if you train yourself to look for it. The fifth step is to adopt an abundance mindset instead of a scarcity mindset. A scarcity mindset makes you believe there is not enough success, enough love, enough opportunities. It makes you feel threatened by other people's success and fearful of loss. An abundance mindset, on the other hand, makes you see that there is always enough to go around. It makes you feel confident that new opportunities will always come, that challenges will always lead to growth, and that life is not happening against you, but for you. The more you practice seeing the world through abundance, the less fear and anxiety you will experience. The sixth step is to understand that setbacks are part of the process. Most people view failure as an endpoint, but successful people view failure as a stepping stone. Every mistake, every rejection, and every difficulty is a necessary part of growth. If you expect success to be smooth and effortless, you will become frustrated when challenges appear. But if you see challenges as part of the journey, you will handle them with patience and resilience. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" The way you see your struggles determines whether they break you or make you stronger. The seventh step is to let go of the illusion of control. Most stress comes from trying to control things that are outside of your power. You cannot control what other people think of you, how they behave, or what the future holds. But you can always control how you respond. The moment you stop trying to control what is outside of you and start focusing on mastering yourself, your stress will disappear. When you accept that life is unpredictable, you stop resisting reality and start flowing with it. This creates an incredible sense of peace. The eighth step is to train yourself to find the positive in every situation. This does not mean pretending everything is perfect. It means recognizing that even in difficult moments, there is something valuable to be gained. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in history happened because of failures. Some of the strongest people became strong because of hardships. Some of the greatest ideas were born out of challenges. If you can find even one good thing in every situation, you take away its power to make you suffer. No matter what happens, ask yourself, what is the lesson here? The ninth step is to stop seeing yourself as a victim. Many people go through life feeling like everything is happening to them rather than for them. They blame circumstances, other people, or bad luck for their struggles. But as long as you see yourself as a victim, you give away your power. Take full responsibility for your life. Even if something is not your fault, it is still your responsibility to decide how you will handle it. When you shift from blaming to taking ownership, you regain control over your life. The 10th step is to surround yourself with perspectives that challenge and uplift you. The people you spend time with influence how you see the world. If you are surrounded by negativity, complaints, and victim mentality, your own thinking will reflect that. But if you surround yourself with people who challenge you to grow, who see obstacles as opportunities, and who focus on solutions rather than problems, your entire perspective on life will shift. Choose your influences carefully because they shape your mindset. The final step is to remember that your perspective is a choice. No matter what happens, you always have the power to choose how you interpret it. You can choose to see obstacles as limitations or as stepping stones. You can choose to see failures as proof that you are not good enough or as valuable lessons. You can choose to focus on what is missing or on what is still possible. The way you see the world is not fixed. It is something you create every single day through your thoughts, your beliefs, and your mindset. Imagine yourself handling every situation in life with a powerful perspective. Imagine being able to face challenges without breaking, to see setbacks as opportunities, and to stay calm no matter what happens. That level of mental strength is possible, but it requires practice. Every time you shift your perspective, you train your mind to see the world in a way that empowers you instead of limits you. The world will not always be fair, and life will not always go as planned. But when you master your perspective, nothing will have the power to shake you. Once you control your perspective, you control your reality. And when you control your reality, you become unstoppable. Chapter 14. Mastering the Chaos. Around you. Life is unpredictable. No matter how much you plan, prepare, or try to control things, chaos will always exist. The world is filled with noise, distractions, conflicts, and unexpected challenges. You will face moments of stress, uncertainty, and pressure. People will test your patience, situations will spiral out of control, and things will not always go as expected. Most people react to this chaos with frustration, anxiety, or fear. They feel overwhelmed by everything happening around them, constantly struggling to keep up. But the secret to true inner peace is not found in controlling the outside world. It is found in mastering your response to it. The ability to remain calm in a chaotic world is one of the greatest superpowers you can develop. It is the difference between living in a state of constant stress and moving through life with unshakable confidence. The first step is to accept that chaos is inevitable. Many people spend their lives resisting reality, wishing things were easier, smoother, or more predictable. They get angry when plans change, frustrated when people do not act the way they expect, and anxious when things feel uncertain. But the truth is, life will never be completely under your control. The more you resist chaos, the more power it has over you. Instead of trying to control everything, learn to embrace uncertainty. Accept that change, unpredictability, and occasional disorder are part of life. The moment you stop fighting against reality and start flowing with it, you will feel a profound sense of freedom. The second step is to focus on controlling what you can and letting go of what you cannot. Many people waste energy worrying about things they have no control over. They stress about other people's opinions, external circumstances, and the future. But worrying about these things does nothing except drain your mental energy. Shift your focus to what is within your power. You cannot control how others behave, but you can control how you react. You cannot control every situation, but you can control your mindset and actions. The more you focus on your own thoughts, decisions, and responses, the less the outside world will be able to shake you. The third step is to train yourself to remain calm under pressure. Most people let their emotions take over when faced with stress. They panic, overreact, or shut down. But those who remain calm in chaos are the ones who rise above it. Developing this skill requires intentional practice. When you feel yourself becoming overwhelmed, pause. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what is the best way to handle this? Instead of reacting immediately, slow down. Observe the situation without emotional attachment. When you train yourself to stay calm in small, stressful moments, like being stuck in traffic or dealing with an annoying coworker, you prepare yourself for bigger challenges. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes to remain composed, no matter what is happening around you. The fourth step is to eliminate unnecessary noise from your life. In today's world, people are constantly bombarded with distractions, news, social media, gossip, negative conversations. Many of these things add stress and chaos to your mind without providing any real value. If you want to master your inner world, be selective about what you allow into your mind. Limit exposure to negative media. Avoid pointless arguments. Stop engaging with people who thrive on drama. The more you simplify your mental environment, the easier it becomes to stay calm and focused. Your peace is too valuable to waste on things that do not serve you. The fifth step is to develop strong boundaries. Chaos often enters people's lives because they allow it. They say yes to too many things, let others drain their energy, and get involved in unnecessary conflicts. Setting boundaries means protecting your time, energy, and peace. If someone constantly brings negativity into your life, create distance. If a situation is causing you stress, step back and reassess whether it is worth your energy. Boundaries are not about being selfish. They are about recognizing that your mental well-being is a priority. The stronger your boundaries, the less outside chaos will affect you. The sixth step is to practice emotional detachment. Many people get emotionally entangled in every problem, reacting as if every situation is a personal attack. But most of the time, things are not as personal as they seem. If someone insults you, it says more about them than about you. If plans change unexpectedly, it is not a disaster. It is just a change. The ability to detach emotionally allows you to see situations objectively without reacting from a place of fear or ego. Instead of letting emotions dictate your response, take a step back and assess the situation logically. The less attached you are to every little thing, the more peace you will experience. The seventh step is to prepare for chaos before it happens. Most people get overwhelmed by unexpected situations because they are unprepared. They assume that things will always go smoothly, and when they don't, they panic. But mentally strong people expect difficulties and prepare themselves in advance. Before starting your day, remind yourself that things might not go as planned. Before going into a meeting, accept that people might disagree with you. Before making a big decision, consider potential obstacles. This mindset does not mean expecting failure. It means being mentally ready for anything. When challenges arise, you will not be thrown off balance because you are already prepared for the possibility. The eighth step is to focus on solutions instead of problems. When faced with chaos, many people waste time complaining, blaming, or over-analyzing the issue. But none of these things solve the problem. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, shift your focus to what can be done next. Ask yourself, what is within my control? What action can I take right now? The faster you move into solution mode, the less overwhelmed you will feel. The ability to remain solution-focused under pressure is what separates successful, calm individuals from those who crumble under stress. The 9th step is to practice mindfulness in everyday life. Mindfulness means being fully present in the moment, instead of being lost in worry about the future or frustration about the past. When you are mindful, you do not let external chaos pull you away from your inner peace. You focus on what is in front of you, experiencing each moment fully without unnecessary mental distractions. One of the best ways to practice mindfulness is through deep breathing. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, take a few slow breaths, bringing your attention to the present moment. The more you practice mindfulness, the less external noise will affect you. The 10th step is to remind yourself that everything is temporary. No matter how stressful or chaotic a situation feels at the moment, it will pass. Every storm eventually ends. Every difficult phase in life eventually shifts. When you remind yourself of this truth, you stop reacting with panic and start responding with patience. Instead of thinking, "This is unbearable," tell yourself, "This is just temporary, and I can handle it." This simple shift in mindset allows you to move through chaos with grace and resilience. The final step is to develop unshakable inner peace. True mastery is not about eliminating chaos. It is about becoming so strong within yourself that no amount of chaos can disturb you. This is the ultimate goal. Imagine yourself moving through life with complete calm, no matter what happens. Imagine handling conflicts with wisdom instead of anger. Imagine staying focused even in the middle of distractions. This level of self-mastery is possible, but it requires daily training. Every time you choose calm over chaos, every time you respond instead of react, every time you protect your peace instead of giving in to negativity, you are strengthening this ability. Life will always have chaos. There will always be unexpected problems, difficult people, and stressful situations. But when you master your inner world, none of it will shake you. The world can be loud, but your mind can be quiet. The outside can be chaotic, but your inner state can be peaceful. True power is not in controlling everything around you. It is in controlling yourself. And once you learn to do that, you become untouchable. Chapter 15. Becoming the calmest, most powerful version of yourself. The ability to stay calm, no matter the situation, is the ultimate form of power. Most people live their lives reacting to everything around them, rushing through the day, getting frustrated at minor inconveniences, and letting emotions dictate their actions. They allow the outside world to control how they feel, never realizing that true power comes from within. The people who remain unshaken, who respond instead of react, and who maintain clarity under pressure are the ones who rise above the chaos and achieve the highest levels of success, fulfillment, and peace. Becoming the calmest and most powerful version of yourself is not about never feeling emotions. It is about mastering them. It is about training your mind to be so steady that no external situation can disturb your inner state. The first step is to build unshakable self-awareness. You cannot master what you do not understand. Most people go through life reacting on autopilot, never stopping to observe their own thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. But real power begins with awareness. Pay attention to what triggers you. Notice how your body responds to stress. Observe the thoughts that arise in difficult situations. Instead of being controlled by your emotions, step back and watch them without judgment. Ask yourself, why do I feel this way? What is causing this reaction? The more you understand your emotions, the more control you will have over them. Instead of being a prisoner of your impulses, you become the one in command. The second step is to practice emotional detachment. Most stress, frustration, and anger come from taking things too personally. Someone cuts you off in traffic, and you take it as an attack. Someone disagrees with you, and you see it as disrespect. But the truth is, most of the time people's actions have nothing to do with you. They are simply acting from their own fears, frustrations, and experiences. The key to staying calm is to learn not to attach yourself emotionally to everything that happens. When someone is rude, instead of reacting, remind yourself, this is their issue, not mine. When things do not go as planned, instead of getting frustrated, tell yourself, this is just a temporary situation, and I will handle it. Detachment does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop letting things control you. The third step is to slow down your reactions. When people feel stress or pressure, their natural instinct is to react quickly, but reacting without thinking often leads to regret, unnecessary conflict, and poor decisions. The most powerful people in the world pause before they act. When faced with a difficult situation, take a deep breath and slow down. Ask yourself, what is the best way to respond? Giving yourself even a few extra seconds can be the difference between reacting with anger and responding with wisdom. The ability to pause and think before acting is one of the most valuable habits you can develop. The fourth step is to master your breathing. Your breath is the most powerful tool for controlling your mind and emotions. When you are stressed, anxious, or angry, your breathing becomes shallow and fast, which signals to your brain that you're in danger. But when you take slow, deep breaths, you send the opposite signal, telling your brain that you are safe, calm, and in control. Every time you feel overwhelmed, use your breath as an anchor. Inhale deeply through your nose, hold for a few seconds, and exhale slowly through your mouth. This simple habit can instantly shift your state of mind, helping you regain clarity and composure in any situation. The fifth step is to train your mind to stay present. Most people live in either the past, worrying about things they cannot change, or in the future, stressing about things that have not happened yet. This constant mental time travel creates unnecessary anxiety. But true power lies in the present moment. Train yourself to bring your focus back to right now. When you are eating, focus on eating. When you are listening to someone, give them your full attention. When you're working, stay fully engaged in the task. The more you practice being present, the less control outside distractions will have over you. A calm mind is a focused mind. The sixth step is to choose your battles wisely. Not every situation deserves your energy. Many people waste time arguing over meaningless things, holding grudges over minor issues, and reacting to every small inconvenience. But true power comes from knowing what is worth your attention and what is not. When faced with a potential conflict, ask yourself, is this really important? Will this matter in a week, a month, or a year? If the answer is no, let it go. Learning to walk away from unnecessary drama is a sign of strength, not weakness. The 7th step is to develop a routine that strengthens your mind. Just like physical training makes your body stronger, mental training makes your mind more resilient. Start your mornings with activities that set the tone for calmness and focus. Meditate, journal, read, or spend a few moments in silence before checking your phone. Throughout the day, take breaks to breathe, reset, and clear your mind. Before bed, reflect on the day with gratitude instead of filling your mind with stress. The more you intentionally train your mind, the stronger and calmer you will become. The 8th step is to surround yourself with calm energy. The people you spend time with influence your emotional state. If you are constantly around people who complain, argue, or overreact, their energy will affect you. Choose to spend more time around those who inspire peace, wisdom, and self-control. Be mindful of what you consume. Limit negative news, toxic social media, and stressful conversations. Fill your environment with things that promote calmness and clarity, and it will naturally shape your mindset. The 9th step is to use obstacles as training. Instead of getting frustrated when things go wrong, see them as opportunities to strengthen your ability to remain calm. Every challenge is a test. Every delay, every difficult conversation, every moment of stress is a chance to practice self-control. When something upsets you, remind yourself, this is my training. This is making me stronger. The more you embrace challenges as opportunities for growth, the less they will bother you. The final step is to commit to becoming the calmest, strongest version of yourself. This is not something you achieve in a single day. It is a lifelong practice. Every day, you will be tested. Some days, you will stay calm with ease. Other days, you will struggle. But the key is to keep training, keep improving, and keep choosing calmness over chaos. The more you practice, the more natural it will become. Imagine yourself 6 months, a year, 5 years from now. If you commit to this path, you will look back and realize that the things that once triggered you no longer have power over you. You will become someone who moves through life with clarity, strength, and unshakable peace. Becoming the calmest, most powerful version of yourself does not mean ignoring emotions or pretending problems do not exist. It means developing the ability to stay steady, no matter what happens. It means responding with wisdom instead of reacting with emotion. It means being in control of yourself, even when the world around you is chaotic. When you master this skill, nothing and no one will be able to disturb your peace. You will carry a sense of power that does not come from controlling others, but from mastering yourself. And once you reach that level of self-mastery, you will realize that calmness is not just a skill. It is your greatest source of strength. Conclusion. You have now reached the end of this journey, but in reality, this is just the beginning. The lessons you have learned about staying calm, mastering your emotions, and training your mind to respond instead of react are not just theories. They are tools that can completely transform your life. The ability to remain calm under pressure, to navigate conflict with wisdom, and to maintain unshakable inner peace is what separates those who thrive from those who struggle. The world is full of distractions, negativity, and challenges that will test you daily. You will encounter difficult people, unexpected setbacks, and moments of doubt. But now, You know the truth. You have control over your response. No situation, no person, and no external event has the power to take away your peace unless you allow it. The greatest power you will ever hold is the power over your own mind. When you master that, you become unstoppable. It is time to apply what you have learned. Knowledge without action is useless. You do not need to be perfect, and you do not need to change everything overnight. But you do need to start. Make the choice, right now, to commit to your growth. The first step is to observe yourself daily. Pay attention to how you react to stress, frustration, and unexpected events. When you feel triggered, pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, am I reacting emotionally, or am I responding with control? The more you observe, the more aware you become. And with awareness comes power. The second step is to practice patience and control in small ways. When you feel the urge to rush, slow down. When someone tries to provoke you, stay calm. When things go wrong, remind yourself, this is just another test. Every situation is an opportunity to strengthen your mind. The more you practice, the more natural it will become. The third step is to protect your peace. Not every battle is worth fighting. Not every situation requires a reaction. Learn to walk away from negativity. Choose your energy wisely. Let go of the things you cannot control and focus on mastering yourself instead. Finally, commit to becoming the calmest, strongest version of yourself. Imagine waking up every day with a sense of clarity and confidence, knowing that no matter what happens, you are in control of your mind, your emotions, and your responses. That version of you is completely possible, but it is up to you to create it. Starting today, take this challenge. For the next 30 days, train yourself to respond instead of react. When stress arises, use your breath. When emotions take over, pause before speaking. When negativity appears, detach and move forward with wisdom. Every small step you take will build the foundation for a more powerful, peaceful life. This is your moment. This is your transformation. You already have everything you need within you. Now, it is time to step into your power.